And welcome back to this character versus that character, the show where
This
we
character
do
versus this. You always get it wrong. This character versus
this
this character.
this character versus this character, the show where we take two characters from separate universes and pit them up against each other. Who's fighting today? I get it wrong every time.
Today we have Shigeo Kageyama, aka Mob from Mob Psycho
Mob.
100 versus the
100.
one and only Gojo.
No way. Anyways, we have quite the matchup today, folks. It is two very, very strong characters, two characters that would solo the majority of verses. And we're going to see who would win today in a fight. Yes, because that's what we do. Anyways, what are we starting out with? What are we doing first? What are we doing here?
Man, I want to start off here by just breaking down some of the reasons why Mob deserves to be here, which I think some people
very important.
Past.
Yes, I agree.
Mob, if you haven't seen Mob Psycho, stop listening right now. If you haven't seen Mob Psycho, if you've seen Mob Psycho or you don't care,
go watch our why you should watch Mob Psycho video if you don't want to watch it.
Mob leveled a city.
Yeah,
just because he was mad.
Yeah.
He just walked and destroyed an entire city just by walking, and nobody could touch him. That's infinity, pretty much, dude.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, that is pretty much infinity. Two, he's a psychic. Part of being a psychic is that he can manipulate energy, physical energy, and any sort of energy, pretty much. And what Gojo can do is he can manipulate. What infinity pretty much is he can manipulate the amount of space between things, how much is and how fast time moves, and like how compact and whatnot the space between him and the other person is. He pretty much just has a really complicated psychic power, pretty much.
They're both like psychics in their own way. And I think
he can control energy and space.
Yeah.
So
to touch on your thing real quick about why people don't respect Mob, a lot of people would be like, well, Mob's verse in general wasn't like crazy strong. To that I say you're kind of wrong, because
you did not see the end of season 2.
Yeah, you did not see the end of season 2, first off. And second off, all the other psychics, I mean, he's just way stronger than the other psychics, but even those psychics could still do crazy damage to the majority of verses. But yeah, the end of season 2 and the end of season 3 show why it's just like it's not even comparable. Like the end of season 2 was like a one-punch fight.
I mean, that was nuts.
It was insane. So yes, he
can manipulate physical energy and space and stuff. So he can break infinity. You can argue that as much as you want. If you break down what his power is and what Gojo, he can break infinity.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty similar. They're both pretty much like two psychics. Cool. Let's get into it. So I think first thing I want to take here with Gojo is I want to take one thing that I always like to take is battle experience / battle control. Mob throughout the show, I mean, the whole point of it is that he can learn to control his powers once he learns to control his emotions. Just kind of a thing. But Gojo has been doing this for a lot longer and knows how to use and control his powers. That's just kind of a given. Yes, he's older, but he's been doing this and fighting with his powers for a lot longer.
I mean, he literally had to pretty much die in order to learn how to gain control, and after that, it was pretty much done. Like
it's like he has the experience, right? I think it's important, especially in this type of fight when you have two very similar abilities going up against each other, who can control the battle experience, all that stuff. That's very important. It kind of goes along with IQ as well too, but it's kind of a given with that. But it's very important for like I said, for a fight like this.
Yeah. Next thing I'm taking with Mob though is Mob has boundless potential, which is very important. And if you're looking at me like, whoa, no, he doesn't. Yes, he does. What happens?
Yes, he
does. The thing is, there's no cap to him, right? 100 is not a cap. What's after 100? Question mark.
Don't say 101 because you're wrong. 101% doesn't exist.
It's just right.
Question marks.
He literally could push himself to anything he gets to after that. If there's collateral damage that's going on, if people he knows are in danger, if there's some kind of stake in line in the fight for him, his emotions will grab him and he will lose control, and it will give him boundless power. So
the more he loses control, pretty much the more destruction around him is going to cause. And he at that point, and it's also the less he cares about that destruction too.
Yes.
Which is a very dangerous ability to have in this sort of a fight.
Very dangerous.
Because more than likely this is going to probably happen in a city. Doesn't have to, but more than likely we're going to say it does. And that's a very dangerous ability to have for this sort of fight. So I think I might be wrong on this. I'm just going to say it because I do know, you know more on JJK than I do. But I want to say Gojo is faster than Mob.
I'd agree.
You agree? Okay, I just want to make sure
we've seen him speed blitz people multiple times,
and the whole thing in Shibuya as well.
Yes.
Where
he's faster.
Yeah, he's faster. I want to make sure there wasn't something I was forgetting about Mob when I was kind of about this. Which again, in this sort of fight, being able to lay out attacks faster is very important.
Yes,
especially with combination of Gojo just being smarter and more battle experience, stuff like that. You can take that speed and attack first, kind of know what to do, plan out some stuff a lot quicker. I think that's a very important ability in this fight.
Another thing to think about with the two of these two, if they are full fighting, this is one thing we know about both the characters, that they don't care about what gets destroyed if they're full fighting.
Oh yeah, they don't.
So this is going to be the most destroyed place you've ever seen. Things are going to be just crumbled around everywhere. Now I say that was just random type thing to say, but the power, this is a power that Mob has, and it's shown multiple times throughout the show. This is called the power of nuh-uh, is what I want to call it. We've seen so many times where somebody tries to do something on Mob, and he's either unbothered or he just is able to turn it right back around.
That's kind of the same thing with Gojo too, but more so with Mob.
He doesn't really just turn like.
Oh yeah, he doesn't do what like Mob does, but it's kind of like it's more like a cockiness with Gojo than it is with Mob.
This isn't. I'm talking about physical attacks. He turns around. This is something that we've seen.
Okay. I
where
see what
yeah. But like he does just kind of things. But I mean, like he is physically able to use. This is so sick to watch. He's able to use the other person's powers against them, whether that be like actually like deflecting and returning the attack, or setting it up to where their own attack hurts them more than it hurts Mob. Like to the point where at the end of season 2, he had the person literally push their limits until they killed themselves, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think that's a power that Mob has.
Just manipulation in general.
Like I said,
is like
nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like you're not gonna kill me with your powers. You're gonna end up killing yourself, like pretty much.
The manipulation too, being able to like take over and control people's bodies is also pretty. You wouldn't do that to Gojo, of course, but like civilians and stuff too. That plays a part in the role if Mob really wanted to get like that. I think the next thing I'm going to take, it's kind of hard in this sort of fight, but I mean, because like obviously I can sit here and talk about Gojo's abilities, like Hollow Purple and stuff like that. We all know about that though. But I'm going to talk about Gojo's hand-to-hand combat and just combat skills in general are much better. Now you might be thinking
much better.
It might not matter too much in this fight, but if it comes down to it and their attacks, their Hollow Purples and all that stuff, if they keep canceling out with each other, then it comes down to something like this. Gojo completely wins in this case. He has great hand-to-hand combat, as we saw in JJK 0.
That fight with Miguel, bro.
Yeah, that fight.
But given that too, I've seen Mob plenty of times just be like,
yeah, like Mob. It's not like completely
so
like.
Here's where I'm going off of this.
Okay.
You have hand-to-hand combat. I'm taking Mob's defense. Mob's nuts.
Yes,
defense.
He does. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go there with him.
That's very fair. Very, very fair.
I have another thing I'm gonna take real quick too. Yeah. Mob has plot armor, which is something that Gojo doesn't really have.
Oh, he doesn't have that.
So, I mean, we saw him get boxed up. We saw Sukuna's parents get called on him, bruh. I mean, he's
alive. He's alive, I swear.
This is some serious stuff we're talking here, man.
Yeah, it's like the amount of two definite. It's Mob who's immune to plot armor, and then the entirety of the JJK verse. It's just no plot armor exists.
Dude, they had plot armor like one time. Like literally, Gojo's plot armor was the one time that he was able to come back to life, pretty much, to learn Hollow Purple. After that, there's none for him.
Yeah, that's like the only plot armor in the entire show. Probably
everybody gets one pass with plot armor. That's it. They get one pass, and if it comes out the second time, they're dead. They're gone.
Sometimes you don't even get a pass. Sometimes you're just gone. Sometimes you're just gone.
Toasted.
It's evil. It's very evil.
But yeah, do you want to break down how you see this fight going?
Yeah.
Before we end it here,
I think we'll just go with the atmosphere. It's in a city. I think it would start kind of like a nut phase and like Gojo being cocky. It wouldn't start off super crazy, I feel like, and then somebody's gonna pull out some sort of crazy move, and then it's just gonna go.
And it'll set the other person off, and as soon as the other person gets fully set off, the other person gets set off, and snowballs hard. Yeah,
whether like Mob goes 100%, and then Gojo has to start attacking, or Gojo throws out a Hollow Purple or something. That's what's gonna set it off, and it's gonna go. I'm expecting this fight to be not exactly similar to the end of the Mob Season 2 fight. It's gonna be full scale, going all over the city, destroying the city. Whatever city they're in, it's gone. It's gone, wiped off the planet. That's what this fight's gonna be. I would probably predict. Well, we could do that in a minute, but if you want to touch on that too.
I think that's exactly how we're going to go, and we're just going to see back and forth action. We're going to see things getting thrown at each other. We're going to see like we're going to see Mob get locked up in probably a blue. We might see, which I'll just tell you, this move got used one time, and I think it was one of the coolest moves ever. That during the fight with Sukuna, Gojo shot a blue at him, and then he's like, "You miss with the blue." He's like, and Gojo said, "Nuh-uh." And as the blue,
told you guys no powers.
Sukuna turned around, and the blue was hovering behind him, and Gojo shot a red into the blue to create a delayed Hollow Purple behind Sukuna, and then sent him flying. So that kind of stuff's gonna happen, dude.
That's pretty sick.
When I saw that in the manga, bro, I was like, what?
I can't wait to see that animated now. That's gonna be so sick animated. No, but it's stuff like that. It's gonna be both. By the way, both these characters' durabilities are off the chart. They're
off the charts.
They're gonna take hit after hit. It's just gonna be
tanking them.
But at the end of the day, I think in this sort of fight, power versus the two kind of the similar sort of ability, I think the experience with Gojo kind of wins out in this case.
I think the experience with Gojo, and I think it's about time that he hits a clean domain expansion.
Yes.
I think that'll put Mob out for a minute. I think the thing I'm thinking about that is when he's in his question, and he's in his nuh-uh mode, and he like just doesn't care. It might not phase him a whole lot, but if he hits it right, and if he gets his good time, which one is it? I think it's this way.
It's
Check no Funko.
Oh yeah, you have the Funko. I don't. I have the Hollow Purple Funko.
Yeah, dude. If he hits that at a good time and he catches Mob off guard, he wins. But
I think there's
Gojo though.
I think there is a case for Mob to win. It's like probably a slimmer chance, but it could happen. But that's up to you guys in the comments to decide. Who do you think wins this fight? We've laid out our reasons. Yeah, that's all from me.
See you next time.
Bye.
on this character versus this character.
Not that character.